And the reason I like people who are controversial is because the topic of today's talk or Rich Dad radio show was do exactly the opposite of what everyone else does. And as I'm speaking today, which is in January 2020, the stock market is an all-time high and people are excited. That's the worst time to be excited. That's the time to be looking for the fire exit. But people are jumping in saying, all right, Trump's going to get reelected and all of this stuff. And for somebody like me who looks at the good news and the bad news, when things are really good, it's going to get bad. I have another book that just came out, is Smoking Along the Ways. It's called Who Stole My Pension with Ted Siddell. He's also he's an attorney, but SEC attorney, but he decided it was best to become a whistleblower and blow the whistle on the SEC and Wall Street. The book is shocking. So ladies and gentlemen, we all know there's crooks and perverts and weirdos and everywhere in the world, including church. I'm not just speaking of the Catholics. The Protestants are just as bad as the Catholics. So are the Buddhists, because I know. I mean, my sister is a Buddhist nun. She's not a monk, she's a nun. But she tells me what goes on with those Buddhist monks wearing those orange saffron robes, and they're not innocent there. So ladies and gentlemen, we're all human beings. We have a good side, a bad side, a dark side, and a weird side. So that's why I'm very happy to have John Del Vecchio on, so we can talk about how do you prepare for what we're doing, but most importantly, don't do what mommy and daddy did. That's the most important thing. And unfortunately, my prediction is I'm not as dire. I'm more dire than John Del Vecchio, but not as dire as Harry Dent. But anyway, I think we might be heading for a depression. And the idea that, we just jump in, when the crash hits, we'll just jump back in, it's going to bounce back up. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to hit a whole stretch, maybe 10, 20 years of a depression. Right. The question is, how long did that last depression last? Lasted 25 years. Right. And this time the whole world's involved.
Yep.
I mean, if you're living in Bangladesh, you're going to be affected. I mean, not as badly, of course. If you had nothing to lose, you got nothing to lose, But if you're rich, you got a lot to lose.
Yep.
And so, Sarah and I and the whole company at Rich Dad here, part of our culture is we value study, and we study together.
Right.
And we're studying fragile and anti-fragile. So the thing here is this, is that, that in schools today, we're teaching kids to be snowflakes, very fragile. Don't trigger me. What else do they say? I just can't believe it. What a freedom of speech, So anyway, the reason we're studying Nassim Taleb's book, Anti-Fragile, is because there's no definition for there's no opposite of fragile.
Right.
Either you're anti-fragile or you're fragile.
Right.
And when you follow the herd today, when things are at all-time high, he calls it the everything bubble: stocks, real estate, bonds, artwork, vacation homes, all-time highs. We're more fragile. We're not stronger. When they bailed out the banks, they made the banks more fragile. They didn't make them stronger. And then if it gets bad, it's going to get anti-fragile.
Right.
So it's opposite of the way we think. Mm-hmm. So Rich Dad today, it's the reason we had to hire a forensic accountant, forensic attorney, and the FBI to take a look, is our company got more fragile. It didn't get stronger.
Right.
And the other thing about anti-fragile was when you're really small, you actually get stronger.
Right.
And so do you feel the company's getting stronger? Right, because we had a very fragile culture at Rich Dad here.
Yep.
If I said anything, I'm going to sue you.
Right.
The word lawsuit was tossed around this company like it was, McDonald's or something. Everybody was living in such fear,
Right.
that I'm going to hire my attorney, I'm going to sue you. That just makes the company more fragile. Well, we had a culture that was making us more fragile, not anti-fragile. So the difference is is that with a human being, a living organism, if you put it under pressure, it gets stronger. Mm-hmm. But if you make it, what makes you stronger? Sitting at the bar, lifting a Budweiser, or sitting in a gym, lifting some barbells. One makes you more fragile,
right,
and one makes you more anti-fragile. Right, and so a lot of people hang in job security, and they're working for a bad company.
Right.
Does that make sense to you? So they're getting more fragile with the company. Like GE General Electric is now going to junk bonds, junk corporate debt.
Small ebook, big impact, The Wealth Tree. The only 4 ways that will make you financially free forever. Download it here for free.
more fragile.
Yep.
They're not getting better.
Yep.
Worst of all is people jump in as it's going up,
Yeah.
where the guys who already made the money are out.
Yep.
They're
long gone.
In Singapore, it's called kiasu. Kiasu means I don't want to miss out. So that's why this whole program today is about do exactly the opposite of everybody does. But the reason I'm talking about fragile versus anti-fragile, I'd like to ask you this question: is the organization you work for or the friends you hang out with, are they fragile or anti-fragile? Like when the whole thing comes down on them, will they get stronger, or will they just give up and cry and beg for Sanders to give them some money? Or I don't know, what are these guys asking for now? These millennials or these snowflakes? Oh, they want free education, free healthcare, free food, free manicures. Oh my God! Is that making us fragile or anti-fragile? That's really it's only a question you have in your head.
Yeah.
And if your idiot brother-in-law is investing in Uber, are you getting more fragile or anti-fragile? And so we at Rich Dad, we're working our culture right now because we never defined it.
Right.
So my culture is really a little too extreme. As the Marine Corps culture is a little too extreme here. But anyway, the Marine Corps culture was a very, very anti-fragile culture. If somebody called you a name, you say, "Thank you, I'm going to get you later." Or the other way that this guy Nazim Taleb talks about it, says, you throw an elephant and a mouse out the window, which one's going to survive?
Yep. It's the mouse.
And the mouse will survive.
Yep.
So one of my lessons of what I'm talking about with the Rich Dad Company here is that being smaller when this crash comes might be better. Would you agree with that?
Right. Yep.
So, somebody asks this question, I say the same question. I always think about this. What I would rather do is sit at a bar, drink beer, and eat chicken wings, or go to the gym. One makes me more fragile and fat. Another makes me anti-fragile, but it's not pleasant.
Right.
And so I want to thank John Del Vecchio. I want to thank Sarah for her contribution. And so the topic is do exactly opposite of what everyone else is doing when it comes to investing. The majority of the time, the crowd is wrong. And right now, the crowd is at the highest. I think the Dow hit 30. I don't follow the stock market. It hit 30,000. But the point here is more fragile because it's high, where people think, oh, a good stock market. And I know my friend Donald is doing it so he gets reelected. But it's actually making the U.S. more fragile. It's really interesting. That's what's so hard to get around anti-fragile and fragile. And the other saying, as a professional investor, is the bull goes up the stairs, which means it goes very slowly, in steps and steps and steps. But when the bear goes out the window, it's like the elephant and the mouse. Who's going to survive, The mouse will survive. So right now, do exactly opposite. You may want to check out who your friends are. Are they fragile or anti-fragile? Are they stupid or are they smart? Are they proactive in learning? Are they, are they getting stronger? Are they working out? Or are they getting fatter? Really, that's kind of the question right now.
Small ebook, big impact, The Wealth Tree. The only 4 ways that will make you financially free forever. Download it here for free.